now Kat Ford is going to tell us about high heels.
The worst part is I'm wearing very flat shoes. So, high heels, what are they about? They're slightly dangerous, but they're very, very pretty. No, it's quite well known that they're not exactly great for your feet. They can cause all sorts of bunions and corns and things. They can also really mess up your legs, like they shorten the calf muscles. They're basically a very impractical shoe. And even sort of professional walkers, such as the wonderful Naomi Campbell, has failed to walk well in high heels. And there's the very infamous picture of her falling off a wonderful pair of Vivienne Westwoods. So, why on earth have high heels continued to be fashionable, despite the fact that they're awfully painful and dangerous? Although apparently not quite as dangerous as very flat shoes. Well, high heels were actually originally invented as riding shoes. The earliest sort of examples of high heels are actually come from about 9th or 10th century Persia, and they were given to men who rode horses, because the little inch heel helped them stay on the stirrups, which meant that they could ride free-handed and use weaponry while also riding their horses. They then kind of became associated with the aristocracy, and they became part of fashion, as you can see with Louis XIV in his very flamboyant dress with little heeled shoes. Now, they were eventually jettisoned, and high heels were sort of suddenly seen as feminine and sort of superfluous, and they were replaced by flatter, more practical outfits. So why on earth did heels continue to be seen as a feminine shoe, even though they were originally invented to be men's shoes? Now, and why are they considered to be sexy? Now, one explanation that's been put forward is the idea that they lengthen the leg and also make a woman taller, therefore lowering her BMI. But if that was the case, surely something like this could potentially evolve, and surely this would be nice. But as you can see, that is horrendous. Another explanation, which would be much easier to give if I could stand up, is that potentially, when you wear high heels, it changes the way you stand. So it causes somebody to adopt a pose that's called lordosis, which is where the bottom half of the back curves out more. And this is something that would make a woman's genitals more accessible from behind. Potentially that's why it's sexy. And lordosis is a posture that's adopted by a lot of animals when they're sexually receptive. So it could be that the high heels are helping women go, hello boys, I'm up for it. But it's quite easy to debunk that idea with a very quick look on Google. These researchers looked into how heel inclination changes a person's posture. And they actually found that the higher the heel, the more a woman tucks her pelvis under to give her more stability. So that completely goes against the idea that high heels make you show your genitals from behind. So, what other explanations could there be? Well, some researchers from Portsmouth noted that actually the way men and women walk is kind of sexually dimorphic. They walk kind of differently. Men take much longer strides and have much more velocity in their steps, whereas women take slightly smaller steps, more steps per minute, and they sway their hips. So could it be the hip swaying that's affected by high heels? Naomi Campbell's successfully walking in heels now. And if you ever watch catwalk models, they really sway their hips when they're coming down the catwalk. So it could be the hip swaying that's the really sexually dimorphic trait. So the researchers in Portsmouth decided to try and test this idea. And so what they did is they got a lot of women and used point capture technology, which is similar to how anti-circus became gold. And they essentially just put little markers on the knees and hips and... Knees? That's knees and heels. They've invented a new word. For shameless people. And basically recorded women walking with and without high heels, walking down a treadmill. And what they found was when they showed these stick figures used from the motion capture technology, people almost unanimously found the stick women walking in high heels as more attractive than the stick women walking in flat shoes. So it could be that using high heels makes you move your hips in a way that says, I'm definitely a woman, and by the way, I'm fertile. Now, unfortunately, this piece of research has only been done in what's known as weird cultures, which is Western industrialised, rich, educated and demographic. So to really test this idea, you need to go to cultures that haven't been exposed to high heels. Because it could be that the association between high heels and sexiness is lowered.